Hello everyone, the storm is starting. I'm Alextrocute. In this video, I'm going to be discussing Nanovor Continuity and other unusual tidbits. If you have looked at all of the Nanovor stories and games, you might have noticed some inconsistencies. It doesn't affect their enjoyability, and well, there's probably some explanation for them, right? I will point out these parts of Nanovor and give my thoughts on them and the options for what needs to be done before continuing the Nanovor story. First, the Nanosphere's appearance. We have almost always seen it as an electronic landscape with massive building-like structures. In the comics, everything looks almost like Earth. There's even water rivers. I mean, what else could it be? Just right inside computers, apparently. Rivers and oceans in the Nanosphere bring up some interesting questions by themselves. Anyway, besides that, if you really look at it, you can tell everything is made up of silicon, formed into the landscape and even the foliage. It's pretty clear that there's no story reason for this to be changed so drastically. So, can these completely different interpretations be reconciled? Yes, with a lot of explanation they could be combined into one nanosphere without any change to either if we wanted. Likely preferable to throwing one out. Why choose between this or this? Well, that's good, right? Pretty easy since it doesn't have much story impact, really. Secondly, Nanovor regeneration and arenas. So, in the comics, it is revealed that Nanovor do not regenerate from destruction outside of arenas, because that's just how it works, no explanation. Not like we know how it worked before, so whatever, I guess. Yeah, worked before. We don't see much Nanovor regeneration in the animated series, but arenas are not brought up once, and what we do see brings it into question. Well, the Nanovor lexicon has an entry on arenas dating back to June 20th, 2009, so it must be right, you may say. Quote from Doc Zap, Plasma Locust 1.0. While Nanovor cannot die in the conventional sense, they do have to take some time to reform their components prior to complete reformation. If Nanovor could die outside of arenas, if arenas existed, you think Doc Zap would know. There would be something, any direct evidence other than a lexicon entry. I really hope they were not added in retroactively to raise the stakes. So, what do we do? Only one or the other, and it has an impact on the Nanovor series going forward and previous stories, no matter what the choice is. Please let me know what you think at least about this specific topic. My personal opinion, arenas are kinda dumb. Who cares how they are made and all that? Please let's retcon them out of existence, not into existence. After that, it's just a couple of small things that shouldn't be a problem. So names, Nanovor Evolution. A lot of Nanovor got a name change in Evolution. Of course it does not make any sense to why this would happen, but I decided to look around a little bit. The comic should take place around the same time, and we still see Electro Bull referred to as Electro Bull, not Bullstormer. Like with Wave 2 though, the comics came out before Evolution, so there's no way it would be referred to as Bullstormer. The video games themselves are very particular when actually placing them into the story. Clearly there can't be a global Nanovor program in canon. In truth, this would be a small service that the lab rats in Snake Pit would use. Yeah, the Snake Pit. There's no way to get around this quote.
See you around, and watch out for the Snake Pit crew.
Lastly, I would like to talk about this comic panel from Game Day 3 I left out of the review so I could talk about here. It could be after Ben was introduced to the Nanovor, and he might have just watched, meaning he didn't have any experience like stated in Season 2, Episode 3. All that's entirely believable. The problem is, what? The lab rats have after-school Nanovor battles, maybe some version of that program that I was talking about. But they just let Ben in and watch? The exact opposite of security. Maybe I shouldn't make assumptions about how secretive the lab rats are, because if there's one thing we haven't seen much of in Nanovor, it's the secret being kept.